Why is toxicity so prevalent in Rainbow Six Siege? Will Siege ever go free to play? And out of all the operators here in Siege, why is Tachanka the certified meme lord? These questions and more like these will be answered here in today's video. Hey everybody, Jeppy here, and in today's video we're going to be answering the hardest questions that Rainbow Six Siege has to offer. If you're new here and you enjoy the video, make sure to subscribe and turn on the bell icon so that way you never miss any of the crazy Rainbow Six Siege videos I put out. So let's start with the first question. Why is toxicity so prevalent here in Rainbow Six Siege? I think it's a combination of a bunch of things, like the competitive nature at Rainbow Six Siege and how a single player can potentially throw a game if they wanted to, and I'm gonna explain more. Rainbow Six Siege at its core is a very competitive game, and you have a lot of people who take the game very seriously and try to increase their ranks. But when you have people that don't take the game that seriously or don't care about their rank or whatever, it can lead to some pretty toxic moments. Things like team killing, or that one person on a single team can actually throw the whole game if they wanted to, because it is a 5v5. So you have one person who's totally playing like a madman and not even helping. It can actually lead to losses. Also, another thing that can be really toxic for PC players is the in-game chat for PC. Now, we do have the option to actually turn off the in-game chat, which is actually really cool because you can actually turn off the all chat, so you don't have to see what the enemies type in the chat, but you can still see what your teammates type in the chat if they don't have a mic and they're trying to communicate with you. Now, the next question is, will Siege ever go free to play? I think it probably will. I don't know if you guys seen the rumors, but there are leaks going around that Siege will eventually go free to play. I'm gonna give you my thoughts on this. I'm gonna give you some pros or cons on why I think that this could be a really good idea, and also how it could be exploited and probably be a bad idea at the same time as well. Now, the number one reason why I think this actually could happen is because there are a vast majority of ways that Ubisoft monetizes Rainbow Six Siege. You can purchase R6 credits, the season pass, in-game skins that cost money, and more recently, the added addition of Rainbow Six Siege's version of a battle pass. So I think Ubisoft already makes a ton of money off of all the little microtransactions that you can do in the game, and now with the battle pass being implemented, that's going to be even more revenue coming to Siege. So I think Ubisoft would be able to make enough money to make Siege free to play, because already Siege is like almost all the time 50% off or 75% off. It's already really cheap, so I don't think they're making that much money off the game sales anyways. So here are some pros for making the game free to play. Obviously, you're going to increase a player base, which lowers down queue times. You have potentially more friends you could play with, and there'll be a lot more players playing the game too, which will make Siege more popular as well. And the more popular Siege becomes, the more money Ubisoft makes, the more money Pro League can make, making Pro League bigger in the competitive side of esports. And with more players, that means more revenue coming to Siege, which Ubisoft in turn can take that money and make better quality content for us. Now, I bet you guys are wondering what the cons are for a free-to-play Rainbow Six Siege, and I would say the biggest one already are going to be smurfs, hackers, and people boosting their friends. That'll mean that a hacker can successfully make a new account and either hack, boost their friends, or smurf for free, and then that'll be probably more prevalent. So I think before Siege goes free to play, they have to implement a better anti-cheat system before they can go free to play. Okay, next question. Why is Tachanka the certified meme lord here in Rainbow Six Siege? So much so actually that Ubisoft actually bought into the memes as well and created a whole skin for him, Lord Tatanka. So I would actually love to know where the term Lord Tatanka came from, who coined it, where did it come from. If any of you guys know where this came from, definitely throw it in the comment section so we can all see where Lord Tatanka originated. So I think the reason why he's the biggest meme of all of Siege is because for the past 5 years, he has been arguably the worst operator in all of Siege. And I hate to say it, but it's pretty true. Like, you look at the charts, he's the worst almost every single season. And when someone's that bad for so long, you just can't help yourself but just making fun of it. So yeah, if any of you guys know where that term came from, please let me know so I can dive more into this on how Lord Tatanka came to be. Now, the next question is, will Siege ever become a perfectly balanced game? Now, this one's a really tough one because I think the entire Siege community and Ubisoft as a whole really wishes that Siege can be a perfectly balanced game to where every single operator is as equally viable as the next. But do I think this will ever happen? No, I don't think this will happen, and I'll tell you why. I think it's becoming more apparent with each operator that comes out throughout the years that balance is going to be such a hard thing to master. Also, you got to think balance is also subjective as well. One group of players might think that an operator is super overpowered, while let's say another group of players like Pro League might say otherwise, that maybe the operator doesn't perform as well. Luckily, we have the charts that Ubisoft releases to us every single season that help guide us onto which operators are performing well and which ones aren't. prevalent. But this is why I think that balance is such a hard thing in Siege, is because I think the fundamentals of Rainbow Six Siege, the true nature of it, has already been mostly discovered. Like, Siege is a very interactive game, especially with the maps and each operators, but I really do think that there isn't much more that can be done. And what I mean by this is there's only so many walls, there's only so many hatches, drones, information. Like, we pretty much already know and got the vast majority of what Rainbow Six Siege has to offer. So I feel like each new operator that comes out doesn't really have that much big of an impact on the game as what the vanilla, the core operators are. And it's actually cool to look on the charts. The core operators, the original operators on attack and defense, are mostly the ones that perform the best, where a lot of the DLC operators usually don't perform as well. You get exceptions here and there, of course. Honestly, I'd say the original operators are actually better than all of the DLC operators. So I really think the only way that Ubisoft can truly balance the game perfectly is if maybe they add more interactions between the maps, like maybe something that we don't even think could be possible yet, where a new operator can do something we have no idea could even happen. Maybe new operators down the road are made to interact with that new mechanic that we don't know about yet. Like, I don't know, I feel like Siege might even be really different a year from now, especially with the new devs that came in. So yeah, I don't know how Ubisoft keeps on coming up with ideas for these operators, like, because I would have such a hard time coming up with ideas that could be relevant in the game, have some type of meaning, aren't too overpowered, but aren't too underpowered, good balance, good weapons, and honestly, the balance department of Siege, hats off to you, because I feel like right now Siege is in the most balanced state, the best state that it's ever been, and Siege just has some really rough history when it comes to balance. Yeah, I think being on the balance team would be a really hard thing. Let me know what you guys would do to balance out the game. Would you buff some operators, nerf some operators, buff some maps, nerf some maps, some sites? I don't know. Let me know what you guys would do in the comments. Now, if you guys have any questions that you'd like to be featured in an upcoming video, make sure to put them in the comment section below, or you can send me like an Instagram or a TikTok message. I read those as well. Make sure to follow all my platforms. Links to all those would be in the description. Let me know if you guys like this style of video. Now, with all that being said, Jeppy out.